Rick Mears burst onto the scene with major success, the same as he had in the early 70s in off-road racing. His Indy win was a major victory on his way to the '79 National Driving Championship. But the real thrill was just driving for the Roger Penske team.
It surprised me as much as it did anybody, and he told me he had a deal to offer me, and there wasn't any way I could refuse it. So I guess I'd run champ cars for about a year and a half, and I was fortunate enough that I got in some equipment that would stay together. And that's the game plan we followed. We knew we couldn't outrun the guys, so we just tried to outlive them, and that's what we worked on.
But the star of 1979 and 1980 gave way to the eventual national driving champion Johnny Rutherford and his teammate Bobby Unser. But the senior member of the Penske team knew Rick was to be reckoned with.
Rick is plenty quick. There's nothing wrong with him. He's quick, he's reliable, he's not apt to make so many mistakes. He makes far less mistakes than most drivers that go as fast as he does, and he darn sure goes fast. And sure he goes through some learning curves, but guys, you got to figure out that the guy really doesn't have that many years of experience as far as driving champ cars or Indy cars, and I just I think he's probably the best of what I would call the young breed or the new breed.
When Rick Mears burst back into the national spotlight once again, it was again at Indianapolis. But this time, his car was on fire in the pits. A refueler had sprayed over Rick Mears and it caught fire. Mears was burned on his face. But then he came back at the Twin Atlanta races. 2 wins back-to-back, even shutting the door on Mario Andretti on the last lap of the last race. It was an important day, especially important for Rick Mears. It was a victory that he badly needed.
It was very good. It helped. It helped get me back on course. It helped get me some of my confidence back. I really felt good for the guys. It helped them. A couple of them were hurt. I felt worse than I was. And I was really happy for them to be able to get back into the swing of things as quick as we did. And mainly, I think it just helped for the team's confidence all the way around.
Rick Mears is certainly strong behind the wheel. He has victories to prove it. But if he needs improvements, Bobby Unser says that is his technical background that he needs to work on.
Well, I think that Rick will have to start working more on development work. I think he has a ways to go on that yet. I think he has quite a ways to go on it.
Still, Rick Mears is living a young driver's dream, and he is happy with the Roger Penske team.
Working for Penske is great. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I've had a lot of people say, well, isn't he a slave driver? Isn't he tough to work for? And he's really not. The guy he's been exceptionally well with me, and I think as long as you hold up your end of the bargain and get the job done, there's no problem whatsoever, as long as you perform.
Rick Mears, one of the young titans of Indycar racing. And when Bobby Unser and Johnny Rutherford and A.J. Foyt decide to hang it up, it will be Rick Mears that will assume his proper position in championship racing.